there was a certain incident which was highlighted, and this isn't for me to be like, haha, Kate Moss doesn't really look that good, but it was her just on a boat, well, yeah, on a boat, and she was on holiday somewhere, and she was just wearing her bikini. She was just, when I say hanging out, I don't mean like hanging out, I mean just like was there with her friends, was having some fun, didn't look perfect, didn't look amazing, just looked pretty normal. And Kate Moss is stunning, there's absolutely no doubt about it, but it was kind of just a picture of her. You know, not always, her posture isn't always amazing. Yeah, sometimes, you know, these people do, you know, paparazzi get pictures of people at awkward angles and stuff, and it was just, it didn't need criticism. And that same week she was on the front cover of Vogue, and the difference was just unbelievable. And so, yeah, that's what you're up against, you know. And I guess that if you are seeing these images, and these images being portrayed to you, is to kind of take a step back and kind of say, well, do you know what, I'm going to redefine my ideas of beauty. And for me, I don't see that as attractive. When they have these models on the catwalks and they're in the magazines, I don't see that as attractive. I never have done. And, you know, I think what I find attractive are people who are healthy, who have that glow about them. It doesn't matter what size they are, it doesn't matter what they weigh, it doesn't matter what height they are, it doesn't matter what age they are. It's having that something about you, okay? Having that kind of feeling of wellness, that you know that your body's nourished, you've got colour in your cheeks because of it. And that to me has to be a kind of indicator, and it's not to do with what size or weight somebody is. Going back onto this sort of concept about, you know, all these models being these weights and all what have you, you know, I'm certainly not that weight, you know. I mean, my BMI is probably like 21, 22. I'm just normal, you know, and I eat well, and I look after myself, and I exercise, and, well, I've started to exercise, and I just have to learn to have a healthy relationship with my body, and that's all I can put that out to you now. You know, if you are that 5'4" person who weighs 150 pounds, so what if you're not a 5'11" model, 5'11" model who weighs 110? You know, you are you. You are unique. No one else is like you. You are beautiful on your own, and you've got to set your own standards of beauty. You've got to determine what you feel is beautiful. And some of the work I'm going to be doing with these teenagers when I go into schools are about saying, tell me what you think is beautiful, you know, and let's try and change this whole kind of idea that beauty is, well, to be quite honest, is pretty much damn near emaciated, and that's the ideal that's put out to us. And I think it's about time that we start to look at healthier bodies. We start to look at people as people rather than a body, rather than judging them on what size they are. See them as a person, you know. And something quite interesting came out when I was talking to a group of young people the other week, and I was kind of asking them about role models, and some of that centred on weight, you know, who do you see as healthy role models for you and what have you. But what was quite interesting to me, but also kind of really like, yes, you know, things are changing, is that these girls weren't just focused on a role model weight-wise. So, okay, popular people like Cheryl Cole, okay, they turned around and said, yeah, she, you know, we kind of look up to her, and she's a bit too thin. But more than anything, she got back together with somebody who cheated on her, and they see that, and they find that difficult, and they're like, well, hang on, I'm trying to tell myself that, you know, my boyfriend should treat me right and all the rest of it, so what do I do about that? And then another person who came up was Rihanna. You know, yeah, we really admire her, we really like her style, we think she's really funky, you know, she's a, you know, healthy size, all the rest of it. But she got back together with somebody who physically assaulted her. And okay, I don't know the ins and outs of what goes on in these people's relationships, these girls don't, but from what the media puts out to them, it's a case of, here's this beautiful, amazing, talented woman who we admire and we want to be like, but what message is that they're maybe getting back together with somebody who's been either emotionally or physically or whatever abusive to them, and they can't quite grasp that, and they struggle with that, and they kind of ask questions about that. You know, and I don't have the time or, you know, to be able to go into all of this now and talk even, you know, for the young people sort of out there as well. You know, people make choices, and what's often portrayed to us isn't, you know, a full picture. And I'd say the same when you see these images. Yeah, you might see somebody on the front cover of Elle who looks absolutely fucking stunning, all done up, dressed up, but you don't know what's behind that person. You don't know what's going on for that person. You don't know whether that person does have issues with depression, whether they do have a difficult relationship with their partner. If you don't know, you don't know. And I think that is maybe what you can take from this video today, is that, you know, a picture is a picture, an image is an image, and, you know, whether that image is a real life person on television, you don't know what goes on. And, you know, for me, if I see very, very thin girls and women, you know, I do sort of think, well, you know, I hope that they aren't starving themselves, that they aren't destroying themselves with exercise, or binging and purging, or, you know, whatever. And I just kind of, you know, you have to look at the full picture. And I think that when you've been through issues like this as well, is that you have to realise that you had a mental illness, you had a mental health problem. Eating disorders are mental health problems, and that makes your experience different than maybe the person you're seeing, you know, who's walking down the catwalk like a stick insect. You don't know whether they are like that, or whether they do have an illness or whatever, or what pressures are on them for that. But you are you, and you've experienced what you've experienced. And unfortunately, because of what you've experienced with your eating issues, for you to be safe, for you to be well, you have to accept being whatever your body's healthy weight is. And that's just something that I'm not saying is easy to come to terms with, but you don't have choice of coming to terms with. If you want to recover from an eating disorder 100%, it means being a healthy weight, it means eating healthily, it means exercising, it means socialising, it means a whole range of things. And that to me is recovered, you know. And yes, I have my moments, but for me, the difference, not just with my food, not just with my weight, not just with my depression, not, you know, all these awful things, the hallucinations, everything that went on, my full recovery has had to be about a whole. It hasn't been, right, let's just fix the head, and I don't care if I stay at, you know, 6 stone. No, it's had to be about, let's fix the head and the body, and let's move them until I'm at a point now where I feel like a whole person. I don't feel cut off from my body. I feel as a body. I am a body. Anyway, I've rambled on for absolutely ages, and I'm probably going to have to split this into 2. Anyway, guys, I hope that that's just been some help to you, and I'm sorry about the face. Hopefully by next week I will be doing a lot better. Okay, guys, love you. Bye.